club. I know that some of you are on the call because you have served as previous new club mentors. Some of you are currently serving as new club mentors, and many of you are here because you are interested in the possibility of being a new club mentor, but you're not really sure what exactly that entails. So the good news is that we have a little bit of everything for everyone tonight. So if you are an experienced new club mentor, I think that there's going to be some valuable information here that maybe you've either never heard before, or it will be thought-provoking and it might inspire you to act as a mentor again, or maybe join our new club mentor committee. In addition to that, if you are thinking about being a mentor, I think that this will help you make that decision and will really inspire you to take on that role and share your knowledge and experience with others. And if you're currently serving as a club mentor, thank you so much. We need individuals like you, and we are so appreciative to have you as part of our district leadership team. And we want to encourage you to continue doing an amazing job and provide you with the resources that you need in order to help the club succeed. So without further ado, let's get started. For those of you who may not know me, my name is Katie Rigsby. I am the Club Growth Director for District 68. In addition to that, I have been a Toastmaster myself since 2012, and I have served as an area director, a club president, vice president of membership, and probably one of my favorite officer roles was sergeant of arms, because I was able to set the tone for the meeting, and that was exciting for me. I really enjoy being a Toastmaster, and I think Toastmasters is for everyone, and I like to tell everyone that I am a lifer. In addition to being a Toastmaster, I'm also a professional speaker. I'm a member of the National Speakers Association, and I live the wonderful life of traveling the nation and sharing my skills and experience with others. I'm also a licensed realtor in Louisiana. But most importantly, I am a mother. And I know for those of you who know me really well, you're going, what? She's not a mother. I am a mother. I'm a mother of a beautiful baby boy. His name is Hercules, and he is 12 years old, and I love him to death. So that's a little bit about me. But tonight is not about me. Tonight is about all of you and allowing you to learn more about what it means to be a new club mentor. So our agenda tonight looks a little bit like this. We're going to define what it is to be a new club mentor. We are going to understand the benefits of mentorship and why you should care. Why should you want to be a new club mentor? We're going to understand the process that's involved, and then get down to the duties of being a mentor for a new club. And then we're going to have an opportunity for Q&A. So what exactly is a mentor? Well, according to the dictionary, a mentor is a wise or loyal advisor. When it comes to Toastmasters, mentors are individuals who share their wisdom, their knowledge, and their experience to help others grow and achieve success. But specifically, when we're talking about a new club mentor, those individuals help with so many different aspects, because ultimately they're trying to help the club and its individual members meet their goals. So their goals as individuals might be to complete their CC or to take on new leadership roles. Their goals as a club should be to be a distinguished club and hopefully a president's distinguished club. So in order to do that, we have to mentor them or provide wisdom or knowledge through the planning process. How do we teach them to plan to achieve those goals? We have to develop the members of that club and provide support, answer questions, so that we can help them develop into amazing club officers and successful leaders. We have to help them strategize to retain and obtain new and current members. And then we have to share ideas that we might have. We want to bounce things off of them. But being a club mentor is not about telling people what to do. It's about providing a additional resource yourself so that they can in turn learn what's necessary in order to be successful. So they need the tools, and you are the individual who's going to give them those tools and teach them how to use them so that they can be successful. So being a new club mentor means you're helping them to plan, you're developing them as individuals and as leaders, you're helping them strategize, and you're providing them with new ideas, and ultimately helping them to achieve their goals as a club. In addition to being a new club mentor, I want to point out down here, you'll see the Club Mentor Committee. We do have a Club Mentor Committee, and that committee is made up of individuals who have previously been mentors, and it's also made up of individuals who possibly want to be club mentors. And so if you are not familiar with this committee or you're not on this committee, I would encourage you to reach out to me if you are interested in mentorship or have been a previous club mentor, because we need more mentors, we need more experience, and we want to hear your ideas and suggestions. So reach out to me if you're interested in being part of the Club Mentor Committee. So let's talk specifically about what it takes to get to a club mentor. So a lot of times there's confusion between what's a club sponsor, what's a mentor, what's a coach. So the club sponsor is the first individual who comes in contact with the club. So the way that the chain works is that a sponsor assists in the charter process. So for instance, if you have a club that you are interested in starting, or you have individuals that come to you and say, hey, I want to start a club, then if you help them through that initial charter process and getting that club off the ground, you could possibly be a club sponsor. So a sponsor helps charter the new club. They help follow up on leads for the club to get more members. They generate interest and enthusiasm for the meetings, and they help to recruit new members. And then lastly, they submit all of the appropriate paperwork to myself or the club sponsor committee, and that club gets chartered. Once that club gets chartered, then the club is assigned 2 mentors. And so it goes from a club sponsor. Once that club is chartered, this club sponsor kind of steps away, and the club mentor takes over, and they work with the club. So what are the benefits for you as individuals to being mentors? Why should you want to be a new club mentor? Why should you care? Well, first and foremost, it allows you the opportunity to share your expertise. So as a Toastmaster, as you've gone through the journey of being a Toastmaster, giving your speeches, earning your educational credits, and experiencing Toastmasters for yourself, I'm sure that you have created your own opinions, ideas, and you've probably seen yourself grow exponentially. And so we want you to share that with other people. When I started with Toastmasters in my club, I used it to kind of get away from my work life. And so I kept Toastmasters to myself. I didn't want to tell anybody about it because I didn't want anybody that I worked with to show up, because I wanted it all for myself. And what I've learned is that that was selfish, and that really I should be telling everyone about Toastmasters and allowing them to benefit from it just as much as I did. So being a new club mentor allows you to share your expertise. In addition to that, it allows you to translate your values and strategies into productive action. So many times we have ideas, we make lists of things we should do, but how often do we actually get the opportunity to act on those tasks, those lists, those ideas? And so it allows you to take those ideas and strategies that you maybe have at your current established club and really put them to work with a brand new group of individuals. In addition to that, it allows you to prove yourself as a leader, and not necessarily prove yourself to others, because I don't think that that's what Toastmasters is about. Toastmasters is not about one-upping one another or proving yourself to other people. It's about proving yourself to yourself, building your own confidence, and reassuring yourself that I do add value to this organization. I do add value to my club. I do add value to the individuals around me. So really proving that to yourself and building your confidence. Investing in future Toastmasters. Again, in order to lead, we must first serve. And great leaders are wonderful servants. They're amazing servants. And so if you want to be a fantastic leader, you have to invest in others. And so I would encourage you to, if you go through this session tonight and you find that new club mentoring is not for you, mentor somebody in your club. Find someone in your workplace that you can mentor. Invest in someone else's future, and you will benefit exponentially. The benefits of being a mentor are so great that it took 2 slides to show it to you. So the next benefit is that you can obtain fresh perspectives. So many times we get lost in this world of our own clubs, and it's kind of like, well, this is the way we do it, and there's no other way. And that's not really true. There's so many different ways that things can be done. And so when you kind of remove yourself from your normal environment and maybe make yourself a little uncomfortable, it allows you to obtain new perspectives and learn more and grow more as an individual. It helps you build your skills as a team member, and also to build your skills of pulling people together as a team. You have to remember that when you are building a brand new club, a lot of the individuals, in fact, most of the individuals who are involved in a new club are new Toastmasters. And so they don't know what a Toastmaster does. They don't know what an evaluator does. They don't know what the president does. And so all of these things have to be taught kind of at once, and you have to put your skills together and work as a team to learn the processes and the procedures. So it helps you improve those skills. I think it also helps you build your patience as well. You get to apply your leadership skills in new situations. So again, many times in our own clubs, even in our workplace or at home, we become stagnant because it's the same old routine. It's the same people, the same conversations, the same situations. But when you put yourself in a new situation around new people in a new environment, it allows you to apply skills that maybe you don't have to use on a daily basis. It's kind of like when you're working out and maybe you're a runner and every single day you run, and then one day you decide that you're going to do yoga. You might be a fantastic runner, but I guarantee you the next day you're going to have muscles that are hurting that you never thought you had. And it's the same thing when you're applying your leadership skills to new situations. All of a sudden you're working these new leadership muscles that you never knew that you had. And of course, the biggest benefit, the reason why all of you came to this webinar tonight is because you want that Advanced Leader Silver. And so by being a club mentor, you get one of the credits necessary to be that ALS. So those are the benefits of being a mentor that we can put on paper. But I'm sure that if you speak to, and if we have time, we'll hear from some of the experienced club mentors, and I'm sure that they'll tell you that the benefits are well more than what I could list on this piece of paper here. So how are mentors appointed? Well, they are appointed. So you don't just say, oh, I'm going to mentor this club, or hey, do you want me to be your mentor? Mentors have to be appointed, and typically they're appointed by the club growth director, but also the district director appoints them as well. And it's done on the original application, the charter applications that are filled out during the charter process. And we email those in. Now, the important thing to know about being a new club mentor is that club mentors have to be assigned within 60 days of the club chartering. So as district leaders, many times, especially if a club charters quickly, we're scouring trying to find club mentors. And we don't just want to assign people just to put a name in a blank. We really want to assign individuals that are going to be a good fit for that club, that are going to be able to attend the meetings regularly, but also that are going to be invested in the success of that club. Because we might as well leave the application blank if the mentor is not going to serve in the capacity in which it's supposed to. So we also, like I mentioned before, we have a club mentor committee. So we also pull people from that committee who maybe want to serve as mentors. They're going to be kind of the first pick of the litter, I guess I should say. In addition to that, we'll use that committee to help determine maybe who would fit best with a certain club. So ideally, when you are serving as a mentor, we're going to appoint you to a club that's near you, so you're not having to drive long distances. Obviously, we're going to make sure that it's a time that's convenient for you so that you can attend the meetings regularly, because that's just like how you have to attend your own club meetings regularly in order to grow personally. You have to attend their club meetings regularly in order to help them grow as a club. So mentors are appointed. It is not something that's just pulled out of the air, or you say, hey, I'm going to mentor your club. There is a chain of command that it has to go through. So what are the official duties of a club mentor? Well, the good news is there are only 2 official duties. Yes, you heard me right. There are only 2 official duties of a club mentor. First, you have to ensure the club is strong and fully functional. Okay, easy peasy, right? Yeah, if you attend their meetings regularly and you go through the processes and procedures that we're going to talk about tonight, the club will definitely be strong and fully functional. The next official duty is that they confirm the officers understand their duties and have the tools they need to perform. The great news is that as a new club mentor, you don't have to do this by yourself. First of all, we offer officer training twice a year. So encouraging them and kind of really nudging them, pushing them to that training is key. In addition to that, we have great webinars on Webinar Wednesdays that you can recommend that they attend. There's all kinds of resources on the Toastmasters.org website. And then obviously you, as the genius that you are, will help to enlighten them on their officer duties. We also have officer manuals, all of those things that are available and in PDF, but also in PowerPoint presentations. And then it's important to know that as a new club mentor, you are committing to 6 months. So once a club is chartered, then your mentor session countdown starts. And you must mentor the club for 6 months. And part of that means that you have to attend at a meeting at a minimum of once a month. Now, there are typically 2 club mentors assigned to a new club, and so it's not going to be on the shoulders of just one person. So for instance, if they meet twice a month, it would be great if you could attend both meetings, but if you can't, it's ideal that one mentor takes one meeting and the other takes the other meeting. So you want to make sure that you're able to invest that time commitment, because if you're not in the meetings, you are unable to really provide valuable insight because you don't know what's going on or how you can help them. So it is a 6-month commitment, and you will need to attend a minimum of once a month, but really that's the bare minimum. So the next thing that you have to do, so those are the official duties, but what does that encompass? we have to make sure that the club is successful. We have to make sure that they are meeting their goals, right? That's the idea. And so in order to do that, we have to share our knowledge with them, and we have to answer questions. Part of sharing your knowledge is the experiences in which you've had in your own club. And also, if you have attended other club meetings, it's a really good idea to start attending meetings outside of your club, so that way you can see how other clubs run their meetings. What do they do differently that maybe you don't do in your club? What do you like about it? What do you not like about it? And what can you take from that experience to share with a brand new club? So the important thing to know is that, give a man a fish and you feed him for a day, teach a man to fish and you feed him for a lifetime. That is true for Toastmasters. See, as a mentor, our job is not to go into the club and just do everything for them. Because then what happens when you finish in 6 months? All of a sudden, they're lost and they are not going to be a successful club. So the idea is not that you're doing things for them. The idea is that you're training them on how to do it themselves. So it's very important to understand that when somebody's asking you a question, that you don't want to just necessarily give them the answer. You want to tell them where they can find the answer, or sit down with them and help them find the answer. For instance, if you're giving them a specific resource, maybe just giving them the specific directions of where they can find it on the Toastmasters website, or sending them the link to it, but then giving them those instructions for future reference. You really want to make sure that they have a good understanding of how to find the information themselves. All right, so we're going to play a quick game. Yikes. Let me explain the rules. So I'm going to ask a question. Now, these questions are questions that you, as a new club mentor, might get. And so we're going to test your knowledge as Toastmasters. Now, there's no one's going to get burned at the stake or killed if you get the answer wrong. But what I want you to do is you have an area on the sidebar of your screen where, if you're online with us, where you can type in a response. So when you see the question, I'll read it out loud, and then when you see it, if you want to answer that question, just type in your chat box your own name, or you can type me, pick me, whatever. Type something so that Rebecca and Mohammed know that you want to answer the question. And the first person to type in their name or me, or the first person to respond, will have the opportunity to answer the question. So, Mohammed, let's go ahead and unmute everyone if you can. And so, can an evaluator require a member to repeat a manual project if the member didn't meet all of the project objectives? Who wants to answer the question?
This is Maria.
Hi, Maria. So what do you think? What's the answer to the question?
I would believe that as an evaluator, you wouldn't be fair with them, and to be honest, so I would believe it's a yes. I don't think it's mandatory, but it's suggested. How about that?
That is a very good guess. However, as an evaluator, you are not allowed to make them require a member to repeat a manual project. So if they don't meet the objectives, then obviously when you're giving your evaluation, you want to let them know, you should point that out to them, and maybe even have a private conversation after the meeting. But an evaluator cannot require a member to repeat a manual project at any time, and ultimately the member must decide if they've completed the project or not. And remember, this is a self-paced environment. We're self-motivated, and so everyone is on different levels. So my expectation for myself is going to be different than your expectation for yourself. So the answer to that question, if you were a club mentor and somebody asked you if an evaluator could require a member to repeat a manual project? The answer is no. All right, so let's go to question number 2. Thank you, Maria, for playing. I appreciate it. All right, question number 2. If a speaker wants more time for a manual speech than the objectives provide, can he revise the time with the Vice President of Education's approval? Patrick.
Yes, I believe that he can. Well, I think my understanding is that he would go to either the timer or he would probably go to the Vice President of Education to say, look, I need more time for this speech. So yes.
I appreciate your response, and I think you did a good job of explaining why you believe that, but the answer is no. So one of the lessons that we practice in Toastmasters is to speak within a certain amount of time and to express ourselves within a specific amount of time. So timing is treated the same exact way as any other manual project objective. So if one of the objectives of the project is to use gestures effectively and the member focuses on vocal variety instead, then even though the member hasn't met the project objective, you would point this out as an evaluator, but you wouldn't, change the objective of the speech for them, right? And so the evaluator should point out that the timing objective was not met, but we would not give them additional time to speak. So the answer to that question was no. Thank you, Patrick, for your response. So let's go to, oh, I see a question. Could the speakers, wait, Mohammed, can somebody read me that question? It popped up real quick. I think Liz had a question.
Yes. Could the speaker sign up for 2 speeches to meet the additional time needed?
No, because the speech is allotted only 5 to 7 minutes. So that objective of that speech is to give that speech in 5 to 7 minutes. It sounds like that what they would need to do is break that speech up into 2 separate projects and make it into 2 separate speeches, or hold that speech until they get to an advanced manual where they have more time to give it. But no, they would have to do it within the objected time. Okay, question number 3. Can the Vice President of Education refuse to sign a member's project completion record if he or she believes the member could have performed better? Any takers? Any brave souls?
Hi. It's Aisha.
Who is this? Tell us who you are.
Aisha.
What do you think?
Well, I think that the Vice President Education cannot refuse to sign a member's project if the person has completed the number of the required, if it's a CC, maybe 10, if it's AC, whatever number is required. What she can do is just, or he or she can do, is just point out the areas the person needs to improve on, and then when he gets to the owner of the manual gets to the next level to work on those areas that need improvement.
That was an excellent response. I couldn't say it better myself. You're correct. The Vice President of Education cannot refuse to sign a member's project completion record. If they have completed all the necessary projects, they cannot refuse to sign it just because they feel like they underperformed. Again, this is a self-paced, self-motivated program. We want to encourage members to improve, but everyone is on a different level. So thank you so much for your response. All right, question number 4. If a member's manual speech went over time, can the member still be included when the club votes for best speaker of the meeting? LaVersa says no. Okay, so LaVersa, you could be right in your club. If somebody else might have said yes, they could be right in their club. So this is kind of a trick question because it depends on your club. So for instance, voting for best speaker, best evaluator, best table topics, that's actually a club option. Not all clubs do that. And
Really?
it actually depends on the club itself, first of all, if they even vote for those. But second of all, if they want to allow individuals who went over on time, some clubs treat it just the same as they do a contest, and they say, no, you don't qualify, you can't win Best Speaker. And other clubs are more lax about it. So your answer may be correct in your club, but not all clubs operate that way. So this would be one way that as a club mentor, you can offer up different options and alternatives to the club, and the club would choose how they want to handle those situations. Thank you for answering. All right, we have one more question. Can guests to the club participate in voting for Best Table Topic Speaker of the meeting? Somebody want to take it? This is the last question. Be brave, be bold.
I will. This is Laura. I will.
Okay, Laura, what do you think?
I think it's really up to the club
Exactly. I think so.
to decide that.
Absolutely. So you're given a little bit of a hint on the last one. So this was a trick question as well. It is absolutely up to the club. So it is possible that you could allow guests to participate in voting. Some clubs do and some clubs do not. So this is another opportunity where as a mentor, you would help the clubs decide how they wanted to operate in those situations. Thank you all for playing. I hope you learned something new. It sounds like you did. And if you have any additional questions, hold them till the end and we'll talk about them later. Mohammed, you can go ahead and put everyone on mute again, please. So let's talk a little bit about using resources. So you, as a club mentor, as a new club mentor, are not expected to know everything. You don't have to have all of the answers. And so I think sometimes that's another reason why people don't step up and serve in a mentor role, even at the club level, because they think, well, I don't have enough experience, or I don't have the information or the knowledge. But here's the thing, a lot of the times we don't have the answers, but when someone comes to us with a question, it allows us and it requires that we do some research and we find those answers out. And so don't allow you to get in your own way and prevent you from being a mentor to someone else, because we all have different levels of knowledge, and there's some things that you might be really, really knowledgeable about, and you really need to share that information with others, and there's an opportunity for you to learn more as they ask you questions. But again, you don't have to have all the answers, because Toastmasters has resources available to you. At Toastmasters.org, there is so many different resources available. First of all, you will be able to show them where they can find their distinguished club program progress by going to that dashboard and teaching them how to utilize that dashboard. You're going to teach them about downloadable forms and documents, where they can find those on Toastmasters.org. And then you're going to help them perform the administrative task. For instance, the new member applications, processing dues renewals, processing education and applications. So these are things that you're not necessarily going to do those things for them. You're going to teach them and use the resources that Toastmasters has provided. And then you can always use the leader letters as resources. Those leader letters are sent to the club presidents and different leaders within the district, and you can send those or save those and give them to the new club, so that way they have resources and additional information coming to them constantly. And it allows them something to look back on and maybe refer to if they have some questions and maybe you're not around. So here's some things that are the choice of the club. We already talked about the meeting awards, that's not something that is required by Toastmasters. Some clubs choose to give awards, and some say that they don't, that's an extra, like, added level of stress that they don't want their members to incur. Another thing, some clubs do a prayer or invocation. That's something that's optional. So as a new club, these are the things that they're going to have to decide. Are they going to start the meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance or a patriotic oath? Those are things that are not required. You might see them as standard in Toastmasters meetings, but each club has a choice of whether they're going to use that as part of their meeting agenda. So these are the things that you're going to help them go through and decide. Guide them through those decisions and maybe give them the pros and cons of doing both. Another thing that you're going to do as a club mentor is you're going to work with them on creating quality club meetings. So teaching them what that requires. First of all, in order to have a great club meeting, we have to be prepared. So that starts with an agenda. That starts with planning in advance, knowing ahead of time who is going to take what roles. And there's several different resources that you can utilize to help the clubs. So for instance, Master Your Meetings. You can look that up on the Toastmasters website. That is a really great resource for teaching individuals exactly what they should be doing to conduct a proper meeting. And then there's also different leadership series, or the Better Speaker series, the Successful Club series, and the Leadership Excellence series. These are all presentations that mentors or even individuals within the club can give to the club to help teach them the proper way of conducting their meetings. So you want to help them plan and prepare their meetings. You want to give them meeting program ideas and tools, and you want to create a perspective that you're here to serve the members. So I know a lot of times when you're starting a club, many times it's just a few individuals that are starting the club, maybe one or two or even three people who are starting the club. And so they kind of take ownership themselves, and it's like, this is our club. And as they add additional members, maybe they're not allowing those. It hasn't been our job to help create that service atmosphere. We're here to serve our members. We're not here to serve one individual. And we want everyone to grow together. And so creating that perspective of service is important. And then conducting the moments of truth with the clubs is another important factor of being a mentor. Letting them know these are the expectations. When you go through the moments of truth, it's really eye-opening. And if you haven't done that in your own club, I would encourage you to do that. But as a new club, it really outlines what it is they need to be doing to ensure that their club is on track and meeting its own goals to become distinguished, but also servicing its members. So I would encourage you to go over the moments of truth with the clubs initially so that they know what level or standard they should be at. But then at 3 months, after you've been with them for 3 months, let's do it again. Let's see where we are. And then at the 6-month period, when you're moving on to bigger and better Toastmaster things, you want to go through the moments of truth again and see where you are. And it's also a great way to see the progress within the club. So I would encourage you to utilize the moments of truth. So building and maintaining membership is another piece of the new club mentor process. Again, you are not personally responsible for maintaining members or fostering membership, but you are responsible for helping them have the tools that they need in order to do those things. And so reminding them that they need to maintain at least 20 members, because we all know you're never going to have all 20 members show up at the meeting, right? And so you need to be able to have a cushion so that meeting roles are filled and there's a good rotation within your membership. So you want to help them maintain 20 members, and then you want to help them foster a membership building culture. So when you're starting a new club, you've started with 20 new members and you got your 20 because that was the minimum and that's all you needed. But we should really start with, okay, we had our 20, we chartered, but let's try to add at least one member a month, or set a goal for them so that way they're constantly working on building members. They want to gain new members constantly, because that's important, because you know that there's going to be some people who don't renew. The benefits that you can share with them of building their membership is that when they add new members, they're creating a stronger leadership base. So it's the same thing for our district. You know, we want to build new clubs because, first of all, we want more and more people to benefit from Toastmasters. But ultimately, the more people that we bring into District 68, the more clubs that we build, the larger our pool of leaders becomes, the more we can network with individuals. So creating a stronger leadership base is important, and that's why we should really instill in our new clubs that membership building is important. And then whenever you bring in new blood, you get new ideas and new personalities. And so it brings something new to the meetings. And it helps to keep meetings interesting and fun because you have new individuals. There's always a new face, there's new experiences, and you get to learn about somebody else's story. So you really want to impress upon new clubs the importance of building new members. And then another way that you can help them build new members is through membership contests, club membership contests. They can hold that within their own club. I know in Naturally New Orleans, we've done that in our club before, where we had a contest to whoever brought the most guests over a 6-month period got a gift card or something to that respect. So creating a club membership contest so that individual members are encouraged to invite or bring guests is important. As a mentor, you can help provide them with online membership building resources, such as there's a brochure called Success 101. It gives you excellent information on how to build your membership. There's also another document called Membership Growth, and it's actually kind of like a manual, and it gives you all kinds of ideas and different ways to grow your membership. If you do not have a PDF of membership growth, I encourage you to go onto the Toastmasters website and download that PDF, or you can shoot me an email. I'll be happy to email it to you. But this is an amazing piece of information that every club should have. Also, there's the brochure From Prospect to Guest to Member, and those are all different pieces of material and resources that as a club mentor you would be providing to this new club. Another thing you're going to remind them of are the different membership building contests that Toastmasters International has. So there's several different opportunities that you can earn, I guess, accolades with Toastmasters. You can have the individual member sponsors, so you're sponsoring whenever you bring a guest and they actually join, there's actually a place on their application to put a new member sponsor, and you put your name there because you're the person who invited them, you're the person who brought them, and you get credit for that with Toastmasters. In addition to that, we have the Smedley Award, we have Talk Up Toastmasters, and Beat the Clock, and all three of those operate in the same way. One is they all, during that time frame, for instance, we're in the Smedley Award right now. It began August 1st. It expires September 30th. During that time frame, if your club adds 5 new members, then your club will be awarded a Smedley Award ribbon to be added to your club banner, and they will also get a 10% discount off of their next order with Toastmasters International. The same thing applies for Talk Up Toastmasters and Beat the Clock. So those are for the club, and those are membership awards that the actual club can receive. And, you know, I know that every time at Naturally New Orleans we receive see one of those new ribbons for our banner, we get excited, and our banner is covered with all these ribbons. And when people come to visit our club, they see how successful the club is, and it allows us to obtain new members because they realize that when they're part of that club, that they're part of a successful organization. So really showing off your awards helps you obtain and retain members. All right, so what are the benefits of promotional strategies such as open houses or speech crafts? Well, they help you attract new members, and it helps the club operate more efficiently because, again, you are working together as a team, you're creating a strategy, you have a timeline you're working within, and so it helps to improve everyone's leadership and teamwork. And then current members stay informed and they're interested because they want to be a part of something great. They want to be a part of something that's growing. So member retention is another part of being a club mentor, and how not only do we build new membership, but how do we help them retain their members? And again, as a new club mentor, you're not responsible for retaining those members. You're responsible for teaching them how to retain their members. So you want to teach them about the importance of retaining those members, and whenever they learn how to retain members, then it allows them to ensure that there's strong leadership throughout the club. So whenever, I don't know if you've ever had a situation when it's time for new officers to take over and everybody's scrambling and going, well, who's going to do it? I don't know who's going to do it. Well, when you have these members who have been part of your club long term, then it makes it easier to put them into those leadership roles. So it's important that you as a club mentor are helping with member retention, and you make sure that they know that all members are responsible for retention. And one of the last things that as a club mentor you're responsible for is knowing what the current educational track is. Now, I know many of you know that Pathways is coming down the pipeline, and so that's going to be something new for us to learn, and we're going to have Pathways ambassadors. But right now, we're still working with the current leadership track: competent leader, competent communicator, advanced communicator, advanced leader, all the way to DTM. And so it's important that you know this leadership track and this communication track. You know that they can operate simultaneously, and that you are able to encourage people to work through that track to get to their common goal and to earn their DTM. And so it's important that you understand that track and you teach your club leaders and the new club members what it is that they need in order to succeed through Toastmasters. And then one of the last things that you are going to be responsible for as a club mentor and teaching them about is the Distinguished Club program. So you're going to present to them how to be a distinguished club. And you'll do that initially, but you want them to get in the habit of doing it once a year. So you might provide that training right off the bat, and then at the 6-month mark, you might have maybe their club president or someone else in the club go ahead and present that. And then you want to display the Distinguished Club program goals. There's a wall chart that you can get from Toastmasters, but I know a lot of clubs keep it on an Excel spreadsheet or a Word document. Regardless of how they keep track of it, the VPE needs to be keeping track of the individual members' goals, and it needs to be something that they can visibly see at every meeting. So whether it's printed on the agenda, whether you hang it on the wall, whether it's an email that's sent out, they should be displaying the progress of each member and where the club stands in the Distinguished Club process. And then you want to help them create and use the club success plan. So that's going to be one of the things that you'll do in the initial setup of the club. So in the first 3 months of the club being established, you're going to help them create their success plan. And again, at that 6-month mark, when you are moving on, they'll relook at that success plan and see how far they come and maybe even adjust that, because that success plan is a working document. It's not stagnant. They're constantly looking at it, seeing where they are in their goals, and they're adjusting it so that way they can make sure that they are a distinguished club. So I've given you a lot of information, and I want to hear from all of you. We have about 10 minutes until the webinar wraps up, and if you guys have any questions or comments, I'd like to hear it from you. So Mohammed, you want to go ahead and unmute them?
Katie, we have a question from Patrick. The question is, should an area director initiate contact with a club mentor, or the club mentor initiate contact with the area director with respect to building membership?
Okay, so let me make sure I understand the question. So is the question that if the club mentor is having trouble with the new club building membership, should they reach out to the area director? Is that, I'm not quite sure I understand the question.
That's the gist of it, yes.
Okay, so as a mentor, we're having trouble building membership and we need help. So yeah, there's actually several different ways to go about it. First of all, we have established a club mentor committee, and that's still in its infancy. So the idea behind that committee is that they're going to follow up with you as a mentor. They're going to provide you with some resources when you become a mentor. They're going to follow up with you as a mentor, and you'll have an ongoing conversation. So again, that committee is in its infancy. We're establishing that, but that moving forward will be how it's going to be handled. Is that club mentor committee will be your resource. They'll be checking in with you. You'll be checking in with them, so they will help you. Also, yes, the area director is a resource. The division director is a resource. Myself as the club growth director is a resource, and Mohammed, Annie, I mean, that's why we're here. So my initial response to you, or my response to you, is the first thing that you're going to want to do is go to that club mentor committee. If you are currently a club mentor, then we probably have it, if that was established before this new Toastmasters year. We haven't quite reached out to you yet because, again, our committee is in its infancy. So initially, I would say to reach out to me as the club growth director, and I'll help point you in the right direction. And I might pair you with the area director right now, but we really want to establish that those types of things go to these committee members to help alleviate some of the work off of our area directors. And then we'll pull them in when we need ideas or resources or whatever. So if you're having an issue with that right now, if you would send me a message, I would appreciate it. And then I will work with you and get the proper individuals involved to help with that need. But the short answer is we're going to reach out to the club mentor committee and go from there.
The reason why I was asking was because when I first was a club mentor, that was a little bit, I mean, it was this new club, so that might have been a little bit of an issue. My understanding is they may still have some of those problems. You know, I haven't been in contact with the club, you know, for many years since I had moved from that area. So I was just I was thinking that in the future, if I were to become a club mentor again, what could I do to help do that?
Absolutely. So my best answer is you should join the club mentor committee. Because you've been a mentor, and actually you're on my list already because we've already talked about it. So you're already on my list, but you already have that experience. But that's what the club mentor committee is going to do. Is the idea behind it is that they will, when a mentor is assigned, there's almost going to be like a new mentor kit. It's going to have a checklist and a timeline. These are the things that you should be doing in month number 1. These are the things you should be doing in month number 2, blah, 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 blah. So that by the time you get to month number 6, they should already be a distinguished club and things should be great, right? So one of the things I'm going to show real quick on the screen This is a working document. Somebody else shared this with me. So this is not necessarily the one that we're using, but this will kind of help us create what we're going to use as that checklist. But this is a great cheat sheet kind of what a club mentor is going to do and what needs to be done in order to help the club succeed. So something like this will be given to a new club mentor. It'll be a timeline, a checklist, and they will be provided with that resources, and they will also be provided with contact information for people to help support them. That's something we're establishing now.
Sounds good.
Any other questions?
Yes, this
Do
is
I have any? Okay. Yes, go ahead.
Just want to mention that I do appreciate the